Alright guys, welcome to We Listen to This. This is a podcast by two girls, us, who we like to listen to ourselves talk about ourselves. Anyways, I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Sophia.
And welcome. Thanks for tuning in, I guess.
First off, this is actually our first episode.
Yeah, well actually it's not the first one we recorded, but
it's not even close to the first we've recorded. Let's not talk about that. That's not important. What is important...
Our background.
It's stunning,
which
right?
we've made months ago. We made this in winter. But
They don't need to know that. Anywho, take a look at our stunning backdrop. I think you're blocking Liam.
Make sure you can see Liam back
So,
there.
you may be questioning what any of these things have to do with each other. Also why we're wearing graduation garb, but
we'll get
to that.
So these, if you kind of follow, it's like a zigzag a little bit. These are the members of One Direction. I ordered them.
Yeah,
because
they're ranked from, how would the camera see this, left to right, by how recognizable they are to Kirsten.
Well, she's really into, like, boy bands and stuff, and I, like, am not that much, and so, obviously, like, I didn't really know a lot.
Yeah.
You know, most of them kind of fell in the background, so Harry Styles I knew, because, yeah.
He's Harry Styles.
These are in order of how much I remember them.
And the reason these are a part of our backdrop, and same with these movies, is... We'll talk about this more in a later episode, but our friendship pretty much began when we were both on the school newspaper together.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how do I say this? Our school newspaper isn't very dedicated. That sounds horrible.
Ellie.
We get a paper out
We
each
get
month,
stuff
and it's
done.
actually decent, but, like, there's just a lot of free time where we could probably be working on stuff, but we choose to
We killed
do
our
this
time
instead.
watching movies. Some of them good, a lot of them not good.
Yeah, watching, like, mainly movies we thought were gonna be bad, and they usually were, and then
Disney
making fun of them.
Movies,
So we have
usually.
Starstruck, my man, Chris Wilde. 10 Things I Hate About You, which
This
is
is a good
actually a
one.
stunning movie. I love Heath Ledger. May he rest in
this
peace.
one, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. That one was something. That one was
That
crazy.
one kind of scared me at times.
It was really weird.
And then we also really enjoyed watching, like, really dumb music videos on
Yes.
YouTube and making fun of them.
Yep, so One Direction,
One
we
Direction
watched
was
a lot
our
of theirs.
personal favorite.
Um,
Which, I mean, I say theirs are dumb, but, like, they were supposed to be. You know, like, they were
little
supposed
bit.
to
It
be
was,
stupid
like-
funny. And I think they achieved that sometimes.
yeah, you might also hear us talk a little bit about 5 Seconds of Summer, because we've watched all their
I'm
music
in a-
videos as well.
I'm in a 5 seconds summer phase right now.
Yeah, it's been going on a little while, but it's okay. It's okay. Anyways, so why are we wearing graduation gowns and caps? Well, we just graduated from high school. Yeah.
So, in other words, this podcast is our life now.
This is our plan, guys.
Yeah,
so if
this
you don't
is
make us
the entirety
blow
of our
up,
future plan.
there
We're
is no
counting
plan
on
B.
you guys.
Yeah. So,
And-
anyways.
You know, we were thinking, like, maybe we should dress up for this. But then we decided not to.
Yeah, so this is what you get.
Yeah, this is what we always wear.
Yep. And we look great, don't
We're
we?
so stupid. No, we'll get to our actual after high school plans later in the video. But this episode is pretty much going to be a little... you guys learning a little about us, but then mainly us talking about...
Our high school experience a little bit.
And just the different, like, graduation stuff we've done, like grad parties, the actual graduation ceremony. I haven't had my grad party yet. It's actually going to happen the day that this comes out.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We've been working on this for a while, and it hasn't happened.
We need to just do it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Hers has, though, so we'll talk about that a little bit, and just other graduation stuff. And hopefully it's entertaining.
Yeah. So.
One can hope.
I mean, I feel like we're pretty interesting people.
I find us hilarious.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it.
Okay, advice and things that we learned in high school. This isn't fun, but...
Can we come back to it?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about graduation parties and other stuff that we had to do.
So you've had your grad party. Do you want to start with that?
It's not fun.
I feel like you made it not fun.
No, it's just, okay. Like, grad parties, I feel like they last kind of a long time.
That's valid.
Which they do kind of have to, because, like, the way that they're set up. But
yeah, it's a coming
it's
go
a
thing.
lot of, like, because you don't really have time to, like, talk and actually have, like, deep conversations with, like, every single person that comes in. So it's a lot of, like,
Hi.
just,
Bye.
hi. Yeah, a lot of that. And so many people are like, what's your plans after high school? Like, obviously,
And now
they're gonna
you can
ask
just
that.
forward them to this video.
Yeah, well, it happened already, so I just had to tell them. But,
Well, that was poor planning on your part.
Also, I feel like when you have your grad party, like, it's not like you're inviting, like, all your friends and, like, you're just gonna hang out. No, like, you just invite, like, pretty much everybody, like...
It's like, oh, this is my second
you.
cousin I met once when I was 5.
Yeah, so there were a lot of people that, like, I just didn't know very well, and I had to be like, hey, like, so glad you guys came.
Yeah.
And
I remember that
didn't
from
knew
my
them.
older sister's grad party.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a long time. I had an ice cream bar at mine, and I, like, really wanted ice cream, and I was really hungry, but people kept coming in, and I couldn't, like, get ice cream because it would melt, because I didn't have time to, like, sit down and eat because people kept coming in. Anyways, that was, like, my main experience, but it was also a lot of fun digging up all the old things that I did as a kid. I found, like, to put up at my graduation party, I found a Harry Potter parody of, like, the Three Little Pigs, but it was the Three Little Harry Potters. That was really funny.
Like, what do you mean? What is that?
It was a story that I wrote, because in 3rd grade, I was really into Harry Potter, and basically, it's, like, this thing where, like, I think Ron and Hermione were trying to protect Harry, and so they, like, had this potion that made them look like Harry to, like, distract Voldemort, and they all went...
Is that Polyjuice Potion?
Yes, that was what it was.
We're exposing ourselves.
We are?
For just being huge nerds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I actually haven't read all Harry Potter, but...
Me neither.
Well, in this story...
I have watched all of a Harry Potter musical.
Yeah, that's fun. Well,
it's
anyways...
stunning.
They go into, like, the Forbidden Forest, and they each build a house, and then Voldemort comes and, like, blows it up. Except for the real Harry's, because he was smart. Anyways, that was that. Just a lot. I found a lot of poems where at the end of them I would write "Stop staring at me," which is really weird.
Like,
I'm not sure who I thought. It wasn't like... No, it was weird. But it was fun to dig that up.
Interesting.
Anyways.
Yeah, I haven't had my actual grad party yet. It's in about a week. But I've also been digging up a lot of old photos and stuff, and, like, dude, no wonder my parents stopped having kids after me. I was adorable and, like, perfect. And my willingness...
Where are you going?
No,
Okay.
I'm amazing.
Okay.
Like, my willingness to do anything on camera, I mean, that's pretty much to this day. That's how this podcast is happening. But it's pretty impressive. Like, just my willingness to do absolutely anything in front of a camera. No, what did you think I was going for by that,
I don't
Kirsten?
know. Just, you know.
I will say, there's a 5-year age gap between me and my sister, and that is 100% her fault. For the first 5 years of her life, she was horribly behaved. And then she turned into, like, the angel child that everyone loves. But up until then, she was, like, just a horror to be around. They're like, we can't have another kid. So I guess you could take it at that side of, oh, we can't have another kid ever. Look what we made. But I choose not to.
Okay. Yeah,
She's the oldest. She doesn't understand.
There's also, like, a variety of stuff that, like, I didn't really know we had to do, but we did have to do.
Yeah.
We had this big, like, honors assembly, which we have every year, but it's way bigger.
She's not invited the other years.
No, I was talking about the honors assembly, not the, like, honors breakfast.
Yeah, you went to the honors assembly last year?
Yeah, I went to all of them.
Oh, okay. They let everyone in. Sorry, if you couldn't figure it out from the Harry Potter part, we're kind of nerds, so we get invited to, like, the honors assemblies and breakfasts at our school and stuff.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the senior honors assembly is way longer, because they don't just do, like, the generic, because every year, if you have a GPA of, like, 3.5 or higher, you get invited to this thing, and it's sophomore
this assembly
through senior year. But senior year...
They also invite you if you got, like, if you donated blood, if you got enough volunteer hours, like, anything that you would get a cord for at graduation, you get at this assembly.
All
so it
the
took,
awards.
like...
There's, like, athletic
2 or 3
too.
hours.
It was a long...
Yeah.
It was, like, 1:30 to 3:30.
It was kind of funny. There were a couple athletic awards, like she said, and, like... Maybe some of them did, but most of the athletes did not get any of the other awards they were giving out, like, for GPA and stuff.
It's okay. You
so,
know
like,
what? Like,
these poor guys, they had to sit here for, like, 2 hours to get their sports medal thing. Which, I mean, hey, you know, like, we all have our things. No judgment, but I'm just like, that would suck.
But we did, somebody said it, like, not said. They did a speech about us.
Yeah, we talked about the school newspaper already.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Rampage.
Yes.
You better be watching this, all of the members of said Rampage.
Yeah, because I know how much you guys love us. So much.
What did they say about me when I'm not there? That was so
Did I
passive-aggressive.
No, I was talking about both of us.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, but our teacher who advises the school newspaper,
he
the Rampage,
he had to write a speech about us.
He complained about it for like a month beforehand, because we're the 2 editor-in-chiefs this year, so he had to do a speech about us at this assembly. Yeah, and he complained about it for a solid month. It actually ended up being a pretty good and funny speech. I did like at one point he mentioned one of his favorite articles that you wrote, and it was an article that I had written.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What was that?
He mentioned that you wrote an article ranking the top Disney original
the Disney
movies.
Channel movies.
Yeah, I wrote an article that was top most iconic Disney original movies. See, this is the kind of hard-hitting journalism we do. But he mentioned it when he was talking about you.
I remember that now. We kind of looked at each other. We were like, wait, that's not right.
Which, to be fair, you helped me with that article a lot.
I did.
Like, it was pretty
kind
much
of a joint
co-written.
effort.
But my name was on it. So I thought that was funny. It's like, he couldn't come up with anything for you.
Guys.
Anywho.
It's okay, though.
Another tradition at our school is we have senior breakfasts.
Yeah,
on the last day of school, you go to your elementary school and have breakfast with the rest of the kids that are graduating from your elementary.
Yeah, and like some of the teachers will
Yeah.
come.
All of the teachers that are still there, and then some will come back that have retired or whatever and go to this breakfast.
Yeah, so I didn't move here until I was 9 years old, and so I was only in elementary school in this school district for 2 years, which meant I was only there to see like 2 teachers basically. One of them is at a different school now, so he wasn't even there, and then the other one, he was there for like 5 minutes, and then he like left.
My mom works at my elementary school and has since I went there, so I've like been in our school district for all 13 years, kindergarten through 12th grade. Side note, people on their Instagram posts keep talking about like, oh, like last 12 years of my life have been spent at this place, or like worst 12 years of my, like however they're using it, however they're saying it in their Instagram post. They keep saying 12 years. We are not in like primary and secondary school for 12 years. We're in it for 13. Yeah, we're in it for 3.
Oh yeah,
no, we're in it for 13. I'm like, you guys did not all skip kindergarten. That annoyed me. Also, the people whose Instagram posts are like captioned 1 degree hotter. You didn't get a degree.
You got a diploma.
Yeah.
Silly.
You don't get a degree.
That's in the next 4
Maybe
years.
if you're in, like, other countries do differently, but in America, you don't get a degree when you're 18. You don't get one until college.
No.
A lot of schools start, like, their college, like, what we consider college sooner. But, yeah, I'm like, that, false. I saw, like, 3 different Instagram posts with that caption, and it annoyed me. I'm like, you don't have a degree.
Shocking that they got a diploma.
There were 560 people in our class. They kind of just let everyone in.
It's a public school. Isn't that quite literally the purpose?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Back to the senior breakfasts. So my mom works at my elementary school. I go back and volunteer there like twice a week. All the teachers know me, so like it wasn't that big of a deal to go back for senior breakfast, but also my mom's told me this, like, most of the teachers low-key kind of dread senior breakfast, which sounds so bad, but it's just, like, it's an awkward thing, you know? Like, they haven't seen a lot of these kids in years, and then
sure, and
they
like,
have
so many other kids. Like, what if they don't remember you? But
yeah,
like,
exactly.
they were your favorite teacher.
Exactly. Like, it's an awkward situation, and basically, they're, like...
Oh, we're 15 minutes down.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So basically, you go around and you're like, oh, what are you doing after high school? And they tell you, and then it's like...
Okay, cool.
Oh, all right. And they're out of things to talk about, so a lot of
a
them talked to me because they actually knew me.
We had a class clown in my grade, and they remembered him because our principal, at the time, he retired, and he came back. But, like, he was talking about, like, having our, like, 5th grade class in that school. He singled out this boy and goes, some of you gave us a little trouble, and then walks up to him and is like, I'm talking about you in front of everyone.
That's so mean.
Well, okay, That's the type of kid that, like, he would be like,
yeah,
yep,
he's like
give me
cool
attention.
with it.
But, so he remembered that one. I don't think anyone remembered me, but that's okay.
We also got these letters that we wrote to ourselves in 5th grade back. I got a couple of things back. But this is the main one. And I remember writing this, so I remembered most of what was in it.
Oh, wait, I remember mine, too. I wrote about the Boone Y camp. It was really dumb.
Oh, yeah, we went on a overnight field trip in 5th grade for, like, 2 or 3 days.
It's just a
I
night,
threw up the day before we went on it, so I did not attend said camp. I stayed home and watched, I'll include the name if I remember to. I definitely won't. But on the video, I watched this Australian baking show that's on Netflix. My mom and I binged it to make me feel better about not getting to go on my field trip. It didn't work, but
yeah,
I watched a show.
I also wrote about our Christmas party. I said, like, oh, my teacher put up Christmas lights even though he hates Christmas and it's a fire hazard.
Was he the Grinch or were you?
It wasn't me. I loved Christmas.
Yeah, but you're like, it's a fire hazard.
No, I'm pretty sure it was him. He put
okay,
a lot
like
of stuff
he
in my
said
head.
that. Okay.
Probably.
Most of mine isn't that notable. I mentioned my future plans in mine, which were to make medicine. I wanted to be a compound pharmacist at this point, basically because my sister wanted to.
You knew what that was?
Yeah.
I wanted to have a horse ranch.
My sister wanted to go into the field of STEM, and being the younger sibling, I'm like, yeah, sure. I want to do whatever my sister's doing. So I knew a lot about STEM and, like, the jobs available in it. And also that they make a lot of money. And then I took my first, like, real science class in high school and was like, no, not doing that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I took chemistry freshman year. I was like, well, that plan's down the drain. I hate this. Yeah, I said, do you still want to make medicine and be a best-selling author? That stands true.
Except for the make medicine part?
No, I mean, like, the second part of that statement is true. I do want to be an author still. Until there's another girl in our class named Sophia. Until Sophia becomes president. Yeah, so we had a plan that I was going to be her VP when she became president, because we were best friends in elementary school. And this friendship, like, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against the girl now. We kind of grew apart, but, like, she's really sweet. But our friendship pretty much was just based on having the same name.
That's okay.
But yeah, I was gonna be her vice president when she became the first female president. Which, fun fact, she's going to the same college as me, and wants to be a pharmacist now. So guess I'm not being her vice president anymore.
Wow.
Lame. She's gonna go to law school. What the heck, Sophia? We haven't spoken since, like, junior high. It's okay, there's, like, no way she's watching this, but I really hope she is, and she's like, okay. Then I mentioned who my best friends were, and, like, listed every girl in my class.
Really? I had, like, 4 people. I was pretty shy. I was scared of everyone.
And then I said, are boys still annoying in 2025? Because they sure are in 2018.
Well, the answer
is so valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the answer is yes, they still are. Oh, and then I sent, like, a paragraph talking about the Blue Coat Gang, which is a...
Wait, no, because I was in a little group called the Blue Coat Band.
Oh, slay! Yeah, the Blue Coat Gang was a club that me and my 2 best friends were in, and me and one of them had a blue coat. The other one didn't, but she was an honorary member. Like, our winter coats looked really similar.
Yeah, that's why we had...
Yeah, there were 3 members, and only one of us actually had blue coats. But, it was, like, this club we had at recess. And I liked that I asked, are you still in it? How are things? Like, obviously not. There were 3 members at the time.
Our band, I think there was maybe 4 people in it. We got some people say they would buy a record when we did it.
Sick. How old are you?
10. We were in 5th grade.
Nice.
We wrote... The songs were not good. We had a song about ice cream and a song about Turtle Man, which is a weird, like, TV show about a guy who catches turtles for a living.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this.
I have a presentation about him.
And then I also got this, like, Q&A thing. Like, there were questions on it about our future. Not even about our future, just kind of, like, random questions that we had to fill out. And it has my self-portrait on the back, so you can appreciate that. I did gymnastics in elementary school.
I was wondering why you didn't have pants.
Pretty confident even then I didn't just walk around in a leotard like in my day-to-day life. But apparently I did. I also really appreciate the front of this is covered in glitter. Like there's glitter like in just stuck to the paper all over. There's no glitter on this. Like apparently I just had glitter all over myself when writing this, which checks out. What are some good answers? I said, what place in the United States would you most like to visit and why? I said Honolulu, Hawaii, and spelled Hawaii, Hawii.
Dang it, I just knew of Hawaii. I never knew of, like, the different parts of it.
That was the only place I could have told you. What kind of car would you like to own and why? A convertible, because they make other people jealous. Honestly.
That sounds like you.
Nothing's changed.
I want a convertible.
Okay, this is sweet, but also kind of stupid. What would you do if you had $1 million? Buy a nice house and donate it to charities.
Like one house?
Yeah. Why buy the house? Why not donate the money to charities?
Okay.
I mean, really nice thought, but just kind of stupid. Yeah. Apparently it was really, really the humanitarian. Because then the next question is, if you're the president of the United States, what is one thing you would change about our country? Which is, like, a weirdly deep question to ask a
10-year-old?
Yeah, like 9 or 10-year-old. I said I'd help people who are poor get money.
Well, you did win the humanitarian award.
I did. I won our high school's humanitarian award, which I was really proud of at the time. And don't get me wrong, I still am. But basically, the humanitarian award we get at our senior honors breakfast, which the top 50 in our class are invited to, and the humanitarian award that we receive is voted on by the teachers, like who gets it, but like the requirements are like that you're highly involved in activities and that you volunteer a lot.
Yeah.
And
stuff like that.
I was looking back on like the people that were at said breakfast, because you have to be at the breakfast, you have to be in the top 50 of your class to be considered for the award. I don't know who else would have like qualified.
Not me.
Our class isn't big doers.
We're really lazy.
Yeah.
But we like to talk a lot.
No, like, my mom's a teacher, and she's told me, she's like, yeah, your class is kind of known for being just, like, losers.
Well,
like, we just don't do anything. We're not involved in activities. We don't volunteer. Like, it's kind of sad. There was, like, one other person that I figured would get it going into it. And other than that, I can't name a person that would actually meet the qualifications. Which is so mean to say. Sorry, people in our class who are watching this, but honestly, they're probably just like, yeah. If they are, there's like, yes, this checks out. Then the last thing...
What do you even...
The last thing I got at our senior breakfast, ignore the sticky note, it's covering up my last name, but is this.
On brown days, I feel lonely.
My guidance counselor found it. Yeah, this. It's really nice.
I feel like she should have found it a long time ago.
Yeah, our guidance counselor found a pile of them. Somehow she had these from, like, everyone in our grade still. We did these in, like, first grade. And we were all given a color, and we had to say, like, what that color reminded us of, if it was a day, I guess. It's a really stupid prompt, honestly.
It's really weird.
And I got brown. So I said, on brown days, it's like a fill-in-the-blank thing, I feel lonely. By Sophia, my last name, and I drew this really cute picture of me and my sister, and this is her bedroom. It had, because it has a bunk bed in it. She wanted a bunk bed desperately, and, like, she got one for Christmas one year. Why, I don't know. We didn't share bedrooms. Like, she slept on one bunk all the time, and the other one was empty. She just really wanted to have a bunk bed.
It's helpful when friends stay over.
Yeah, and I'm outside her room saying,
let me in, please.
And she says no.
Smiling.
And, yeah, she's smiling, and I'm frowning.
I feel lonely when my
bottom
sister
it says,
won't play with me.
I feel lonely when my sister won't play with me.
Oh,
apparently this is based on a Dr. Seuss book, My Many Colored Days. It says that in the corner. So this is vaguely depressing, and I sent it to my sister afterwards. I'm like, look what you did. Like, I was so hurt by you not playing with me enough, apparently. She's like, hey, you deserved it. Like,
My goodness.
okay. We also had a senior sunset
Oh, yeah.
that
I
all the
forgot about
seniors
that.
went to.
I didn't.
Yeah, not all the seniors went.
I went to the sunrise.
At the beginning
'Cause-
of the year, we had a
yeah.
sunrise where we all watched the sunrise together. And at the end of the year, there's a sunset where we watch the sunset. And it's like this big emotional moment.
My sun
And
never set.
way more people attend the sunset because no one wants to get up to watch the sunrise.
Except me, I was
Except
opposite.
Kirsten.
I had stuff going on.
She
so I
had
couldn't go.
horse nerd stuff.
Horse nerd?
Am I wrong? What were you doing?
Horse riding, not horse nerding.
Same diff.
Okay, whatever.
Um,
I'm a horse girl, so
but
you might
we
hear
got.
that.
We also wrote letters to our future selves of that, like at senior sunrise, and we got them back at senior sunset. Which I will also say, I have other friends beside Kirsten, but not really. Low key, like she's my best friend. So I was like so awkward at senior sunset, like just
Sorry about
casually
that.
there, like,
Hey, y'all.
hey guys, I talked to you sophomore year. What's up?
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Okay.
So we wrote letters to our future selves though. They're very short because they only had like tiny pieces of paper at senior
and, like,
sunrise.
big markers,
Yeah,
too.
and really thick markers. So, not most of our letters are that notable. However, I really like this line. Did you get a boyfriend yet? Honestly, it'd kind of surprise me.
Well, we both still have not gotten a boyfriend yet.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't prove my past self wrong, but that's just mean.
She was wrong.
Honestly, it'd kind of surprise me.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember I wrote in mine, I hope you're a little bit less scared. And,
Did that happen?
No. But I also wrote, like, if all else fails, you can just be a trophy wife.
I love that.
That's
I still want to be a trophy wife.
Honestly, plan A.
Which is a perfect segue into our future plans.
Yes. If I don't become a trophy wife, obviously this is our
Yeah.
plan A, right? Like,
Yeah, our plan A.
this is going to blow up. We are going to get
Trophy
rich
wife is plan
off
B.
of this
Our plan
podcast.
A is this podcast because we also don't really want to have jobs and stuff. That's scary.
Yeah. We like to say
Like-
pre and post independence is the best
Yeah.
time of your life.
That's where it's at. Like,
Like before you have responsibilities and have to do stuff. And
yeah,
then
so like
after,
as a kid and like early teenager, I mean honestly still now for me. I'm the youngest kid, so like my parents do everything
Honestly,
for me
same,
still. It's
yeah.
great. She's the oldest, but some reason her parents do too. You give youngest child vibes.
Do I really?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not what other people say about me. So.
Okay. But what was I saying?
Pre and post independence.
Oh yeah, and then like after
Yeah, when you're
that,
old
when you're
enough
in a
to
nursing
retire.
home, specifically when you're in a nursing home, they
Yeah,
bring your
'cause-
food to you. You just chill and play bingo. That is the life, man. How do we skip to that? We can't, which sucks. But we can
Yeah.
get out of getting a job if this podcast blows up.
Yeah.
It's like my dad tells people at work. He's only there till his OnlyFans blows up. He's said this in multiple meetings and somehow still has
Oh.
a job.
Well. Yeah, but if that doesn't work out, we do have some real plans, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to go first or me?
Sure. Should I say where I'm going to school?
If you want to. I was planning on it.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Central College. It's in Pella. Like, you know, the Tulip Time place? That's where I'll be.
Dude, this is gonna have international fame. No one's gonna know what Tulip Time is.
Yeah, because international people are gonna watch this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's a little town in
Iowa.
the
Yeah.
United, United States.
You probably won't have heard of the colleges we're going to, because they're both, like, smaller private schools.
Yeah.
I would say more people have heard of mine than yours.
Yeah, well, it's this cute little school. And I'm gonna study psychology. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. Actually, I'm either gonna minor or double major in business. I probably should figure that out, but I want to do a little bit of business just because, like, to have a backup.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it, honestly, for me. I don't have, like, a concrete plan yet.
I would say my, like, path to figuring out what I want to do when I grow up is what I wanted to do when I grew up is different than, like, most teenagers. Because pretty much since I can remember, I've wanted to be an author. Like, I wrote in that, and, like, all of the stuff I read, pretty much. And, like, I want to say, like, I looked through a binder of schoolwork from kindergarten the other day. Yeah. And I have something in there about wanting to be an author, which is weird because I don't remember wanting to be an author at that time, but apparently I did. Like, pretty much forever, I've been set on what I want to do. I don't really know why. It's just, like, always been, like, a fact. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be an author. Mm-hmm. Which is, like, cute when you're 5.
But when you need to make money.
Yeah. Then eventually your parents are like, ooh.
I feel like that low-key happened to me, too, because I wanted to be, like, a farmer. But I've always really liked horses, and I wanted to just, like, be a little horse girl. But that doesn't make any money. It actually costs you money, so I have to get, like, a big girl job.
See, I'm a lot more stubborn than you, though. So, pretty much, as you get older, your parents start to be more like, instead of like, oh, that's fun.
But
like, oh.
That's a good plan B.
Yeah. Get a real job, though. Preferably something not in the arts that, like, has job prospects. Flash forward to, like, middle school, and they're like, hey, you actually need to start coming up with a backup plan, or at least thinking about one instead of telling us no. Like, let's be realistic here. Best-selling author. I mean, we're not saying you can't be that, but the odds aren't in your favor. Let's have any other plan.
Yeah.
And then I still pretty much just, like, straight out said no, and that I was going to study English, and I wanted to be an author, and they're like, you don't even need a degree to be an author. But I did see something on YouTube one time, because that's where you should get your career advice from.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was people that had creative writing degrees, and they're talking about, like, yeah, I know I'm likely not going to be an author, but, like, this is what I really want, so I have to do all I can to achieve that.
Yeah.
Even if it, like, you know, like, I have to go to school to get this, to learn as much as I can about writing, so I can have my best shot at doing this thing I want to do.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
And that really resonated with me, because it's like, yeah, you don't technically need a degree, but I think it's like, there's this notion that, like, anyone can write a book, because anyone technically can, but you have to learn how to write, you know? Like, my dad actually wrote a full manuscript. We can talk about this in another episode. Pretty much to prove to me that you can do it and it's easy enough. Because I keep saying I'm gonna write, like, a first draft of something, and then I never do. He wrote the full manuscript in, like, a month. It's actually pretty impressive. Horrible, but impressive that it, like, happened. Like, the actual book, it's really bad. He doesn't think it is, but it's really bad.
We'll have to talk about it. The plot is so interesting.
It's an event, man. It's something. The main character's based off of me. The best friend's based off of her. The dad
really
character's
subtle.
based off of him. It's not subtle at all. And then I don't have a mom, so I guess he killed off my mom.
I know. I was like, I read part of the book and I texted her and I was like, is your dad afraid that your mom's gonna, like, die or something?
Apparently not. If you keep reading the book, he's pretty fine with it. But this is for another podcast episode, because, yeah, that's something that happened. But what I was saying is, like, I really wanted to give this my best shot and, like, do anything in my power to succeed at writing, and I knew that involved going to college and studying English or writing in some capacity. They're like, so finally by high school, my parents had pretty much given up. No, they'd come to a compromise with me.
Okay.
They're like, okay, you can study English or writing or whatever, but get a second degree, like, get a double major in something you can fall back on. I don't think they wanted that to also be English and writing.
Oh, yeah, because isn't it, like, journalism or something?
Yeah, I'm going to Drake University in the fall and studying English and journalism and mass communication. Even if I'm not an author, I want to be an editor in the publishing world in some capacity. And also, once again, that just having, let's say I do get a job as an editor, that will teach me more about the publishing industry and whatnot, so I can hopefully potentially be an author. Our actual graduation ceremony, we, like, didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that notable.
It really wasn't that exciting. One kid tripped, but it wasn't really like across the stage. So
Yeah, it was like when we were exiting.
Nobody did like a flip or anything.
No, nothing that cool happened. Like I said, there are 560 some of us,
so long.
It was hours of people going up and getting diplomas. But the two guys next to me, they were actually pretty cool. Like, kudos to them. But because we go to such a big school, you don't know everyone.
No, I didn't know who I was.
I looked on our, what's it called, the pamphlet you get?
Mm-hmm.
That has, like, everyone's names on it. They give out at the ceremony to everyone. And anyone within 4 people on either side of me, I did not know. Like, could not pick them out of a lineup. So the guys on either side of me, they were, like, nice. They like to talk in Spanish, like, over me, though. Like, I'm sitting here, they'd, like, talk behind me to each other. Like, they clearly knew each other. And I also don't think they knew I spoke Spanish and, like, assumed I didn't, which is valid. I'm a white chick. Like, it's valid. I actually do speak... I'm not, like, fluent by any means, but I speak a good amount of Spanish. Like, I can... If you're... Especially, like, listening, if someone's having a conversation, I can, like, get the gist of it. Which, luckily, they didn't say anything, like, about me directly or anything, but I remember they had us stand up for this award we get, for learning Spanish at our school, and one of them's like, "So, you got that too, huh?" like, oh, shoot. She can understand what we've been saying the whole time. Also, halfway through our ceremony, not halfway through, like, a tiny bit through our ceremony, we've had, like, an opening speech already, but no one's went up and, like, got their diplomas yet. I, like, fiddle with my hat to adjust it, and one of them goes, "Oh, wait, is this..." He goes up next to me, "Wait, is this when we throw our hats?"
You should have said yes.
Yeah, is this when we throw our caps? I'm like, no!
You
What?
should have been like, "Yep, you better throw it right now."
Yes, it's now, at the beginning of the... beginning of the ceremony. Thank you. Yeah, that was something. Anyways, this segment is going to be at the end of all of our videos. We get the chance to recommend something, anything.
Literally
it can be
anything.
A food we tried. It can be just an activity we did. It can be something from pop culture. Will these recommendations actually be helpful to you?
No.
Likely no. But they'll be fun for us to give.
Yeah, and we like to talk about
stupid
stuff,
things.
So.
We do like to talk about stuff.
Yes.
Hence the podcast. So we should have named it. We like to talk about stuff.
Well,
I mean, honestly, our actual title isn't that far off.
No, it's not. Do you want to go first or should I?
You should.
Okay. So my recommendation, and this, I feel like it applies more to girls than it does to guys.
I would agree with that.
When if you're ever getting yourself, like, a car or a vehicle, get one that, like, people wouldn't, like, look at you and be like, "That's what she drives." Or he, no judgment. Because, for me, well, I ride horses, and so we have a horse trailer, but I have, like, a Jeep Cherokee, my, like, normal car, that can't pull a trailer, so my dad got a truck from his work for me to drive, and it's so fun to drive the truck, because it's a bigger car, it's like a pickup truck, and I'm 5'4" teenage girl, maybe 120 pounds.
Yeah, like
I'm
this
not
cute little thing.
And I don't really dress like a country girl. I would think.
No.
You don't look at me and be like, she drives a truck.
Other than talking about horses a lot, like, you don't give off that vibe, really.
Yeah, so I think it's so funny when I pull up to the function and get out of this big truck, especially with the horse trailer behind
Kirsten's here.
And it feels like such a power trip because it's like, yeah, that's my ride.
Yeah,
now,
I drive a
ignore
truck.
when
What
I
about
drive it. Ignore when I drive it over the curb because I'm actually not that great of a driver.
It's okay, I suck at driving. My recommendation is for another podcast. It is the 5 Seconds of Summer Talks 10 Years podcast.
We spent some time on that one already.
Yeah.
That's what we watch when we're eating dinner before we
and we are procrastinating recording this. I've watched all the episodes. She's watched a couple.
I've watched one.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know that you've watched one in entirety. You've watched, like, segments
mostly
of a couple, though.
I don't watch them, like...
outside of when you're at my house. But pretty much, the band 5 Seconds of Summer had their 10-year anniversary in 2021. Yeah, in 2021. And they did a podcast episode for every year they've been a band and pretty much broke down, like, what happened in that year and, like, how they changed and grew as a band. It's really funny. Like, they talk about the stupid stuff they did in, like, 2011 and 2012 when they were, like, 15-year-olds.
About how, like, is he the lead singer? His mom, like, drove everybody around because they were 15 years old.
Yeah, like, they casually mentioned at one point that they had to, like, fly everywhere for tours because none of them could drive. Which is like,
so funny. Like,
yeah, like, they're doing a tour of Australia, but none of them can drive. And then, like, in the later episodes, it's kind of cool. They talk about, like, how they've grown as a band and, like, went from, like, being these 15-year-olds to, like, okay, we want to mature our music. How do we do that? Yeah. And people will still listen to us. It's pretty interesting. And, like, going into, like, especially, like, from their second to third album, because their second album, Sounds Good, Feels Good, and their third album, Youngblood, are, like, very different, in terms of the music and the vibes of them and everything. So it was, like, interesting to hear them talk about that. At one point, their drummer, Ashton, just, like, casually mentions how he had this plan to run away.
They're entertaining guys.
They are. They're really personable. I feel like we would be friends with them. Like, if they weren't, like...
Okay, maybe not, but, like, in the
if
future...
they weren't, like,
okay, but, like,
13 years older than us.
How many boys are we friends with now?
That's true. Yeah, we wouldn't be friends
There's
with
a reason none of us have had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
None of us. There's only 2 of us.
And none of us have had a boyfriend. We're the problem.
A little bit. No, but, like, now I'd be like, they'd be so fun to hang out with.
Yeah, like, yeah. No, anywho, that's my recommendation. It's a fun podcast. It isn't too long. There's only 11 episodes, and the longest one's, like, half an hour. And it's pretty fun, especially if you're a fan of the band. Otherwise, you're probably not going to care. But, I mean, if you want to watch it anyways, you do you.
They're Australians, so that's something.
Yes, we're big fans of Australians.
Australia in general.
Yeah,
it's pretty
big
cool.
fans. The moral of this whole story is, I sounded pretty enthusiastic about my future plans. But that's only because my plan involves becoming a best-selling author, which, let's be honest, isn't really, like, a job. Like, I'd work from home and, like, my whole job's writing. That'd be pretty sick. I don't actually have to be, like, in an office and do work. I don't want to do that. Neither does she.
We're scared of 9-to-5s. I am. I worked a 9-to-5 once over the summer. Everybody was really nice to me, but it's not for the week. It was actually an 8-to-5, but...
No, I have no desire to have a real job. This is why I fought so hard to be an author as my only job prospect for so long. Yeah. I have no desire to get a real job. You can make this happen for us. This is up to you.
You're getting really close to the mic.
I want to make sure they hear me.
You guys have to help us.
Like this. I don't know if that's actually a thing on podcasts.
Subscribe and turn on
notifications. Subscribe, turn on notifications. Do whatever. Share this with your friends. Please. Yeah. This is our first episode, so it's like a big one. And it determines if we have to go to college in the fall.
Yes, please make us rich now.
So
because
we don't have to go
rich
through
off
that.
Of podcasts, but that's
some people do.
Like who?
Joe Rogan?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. I think he was actually a thing before.
No, he is a thing because I looked up.
He's like
cameras for podcasting, and he came up.
Podcaster ever.
Ew.
Yeah, like we're not trying to be Joe Rogan, but it's just the first example that popped in my head.
Anyways,
I'm sure there are others. Anywho, help us. Please.
Help us reach our dreams of not having to work.
Yes. Please.
So, subscribe and turn on notifications, please.
So we don't have to go to college.
Yes.
Bye.